My name is Simon Hester. I'm a trade union representative in this building. I work for the Health and Safety Executive.
Which trade union are you?
I'm the Prospect Trade Union.
So where are you striking today?
We're on strike, official dispute over the government's plans to cut our pension package by 47% overall.
How do you think it's going to affect your pension? How much do you think you're going to get?
Well, what they're proposing to do is to make us pay more from April next year. They want us to work longer so we can retire later, and then we will get less when we get our pensions. So the whole package amounts to really quite a big cut in our pension arrangements.
Do you know how big the cut will be?
Well, the calculation is that it'll be 47% overall for the average person who lives after they've retired. So, yeah, a major change.
And do you think you're going to, at what age do you think you're going to retire?
Well, that's a good question. I was expecting to retire at 60, but it now appears that I might not retire till I'm 66 or 67, maybe. It's not clear yet because the final agreement, because the unions haven't agreed to anything yet, we don't know what's exactly on the table. But at the moment, we're hoping to defeat the government's plans, and so I can retire at 60. That's my plan.
The government always take the excuse saying that the strikers are unfair to private sector because the private sector workers are not going to get as big pension as the public sector is going to get. What do you think?
The private sector pensions have been hammered over the last 15 to 20 years. I used to be in the private sector myself, and I know that when I was there, my employers, they took what they called a pension holiday. They stopped paying into the pension fund because the pension fund was doing so well. That was in the 90s when the stock markets were high. Now that the stock markets are low and the pension funds are struggling, they've cut the pensions massively for the private sector. That has been done by the employers in the private sector. It's not been done by people like me. It's not been done by teachers or nurses or other public sector workers. We haven't hammered the private sector pensions. It's the private sector employers and the pension funds who have reduced the pensions for private sector workers. We want to see good pensions for all people. If the government was serious about protecting private sector pensioners, they would force employers to provide proper pension funds, or they could bring in a basic state pension which is much higher than it is now. The fact that they don't do those things tells you that all they're saying is a blatant attempt at divide and conquer. They want to have private sector workers and public sector workers fighting against each other so that the real people who are behind all this don't get the blame. So we are with the private sector people, and we hope they're with us.
Thank you very much.